Hi guys, quick update here for YouTube. Obviously it's Thanksgiving today, so 28th of November 2024. Hope everyone's doing great. If you want to join the group, everything is here. The Black Friday 15% discount is for the educational courses, the mini version as well as the full version. And if you want to join the group, it's already discounted over 3 months. So there's no extra discount on top of that. And obviously we've got the mortgage amortization course, which once again it's been delayed by about 2.5 years now. So hopefully we get this out before the end of Q1 2025. Just applying the finishing touches. There's a lot more to cover with regard to that. That's a really interesting course. A lot of people are really looking forward to that. So, and if you want to pay via crypto for any product, just message me through the Facebook page. We do videos every Mondays and Thursdays, and as you can see, these are very detailed videos. Especially recently, we've looked at the long-term count for Bitcoin. You know, where is this Bitcoin actually going to go between now and the end of the decade? What are the long-term extrapolated targets? A detailed video on XRP, and what we do here, we just delete on a running monthly basis. But on the Facebook group, all the videos are there for however long Facebook keep the videos for, which is probably many years. So these are very detailed videos. We take group requests, and obviously during the Mondays and Thursdays, in between that time, it's a 24-hour market, especially in crypto, as you can see. So there's always a need to do extra updates. So in this video today on YouTube, we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. But like I said, lots of interesting things going on over there on the group. Frankly, I think it's very good value for money. And if you want to pay via crypto, everything is there. So, you know, let's just recap what's going on here on the weekly chart. So, you know, do we think Bitcoin has topped, and is this a large expanded flat, and are we going to come down in a huge crash? No, we don't think that. So Bitcoin is consolidating. We said at the end of last week there was always going to be a pre-Thanksgiving shakeout. Now, is this shakeout over? Can it go lower? Well, possibly it can go lower. So I'm just up here on the futures because I prefer to take the marks off the futures. I'm just going to mark out a couple of key levels here. One is the weekly low. As you can see, all of this selling, all of this correction, in the grand scheme of things, is simply an inside candle. And it's not like we've not seen consolidation candles before. This is setting up the cause to break through the psychological barrier of 100,000, which obviously we were always going to get bears trying to defend against that level. I'm just going to mark out another key level. So just underneath 90k, so worst case scenario, assuming the correction is not over, you could just say there is the correction over 1212. We're going to go straight from here. If not, there's over 40 different types of corrections. Getting too bogged down for this in a raging bull market isn't really the best idea. You know, that would be a possible interpretation. Often Bitcoin doesn't make these standard textbook 335s. Often the C wave is truncated, and then you get a bit of a 1-2. So in the end, it kind of looks like a triangle because it's part of an ABC truncation as well as a 1-2. So it kind of looks like an ABCDE triangle, but really it's a truncated ABC. So I don't think on the grand scheme of things, this is really important. Ultimately, this market can consolidate back and forth between 90 and 100,000 and is building up the cause to basically break through the barrier. Because if we're saying at the top, I mean, we've heard some individuals on YouTube are calling for a CME gap fill. Now, that completely invalidates all of our bullish targets on Solana. We've got bullish targets on XLM, XRP, and many other coins which we're following. You know, you can't have Solana going higher, let's say to 250 hypothetically, and Bitcoin going down to 78,000. There's no justification for it to go that low. And if we do get an unbelievable panic sell-off down to here, that's an unbelievable buying opportunity. It's just that would completely change the wave count, and it would be more like a 1-2, because obviously you can't have a wave 4 going that low. Whilst it is possible, we don't usually like wave 4s to correct that low. This is some degree of wave 4, so I don't think it gets down that low. If it does, frankly, it makes me even more bullish on Bitcoin medium to longer term. So ultimately, consolidation between 90 and 100,000. We're covering many altcoins in the group. I mean, this is just to give you an idea of what we cover. It's all of these, all the AI coins. I mean, we're covering everything here. It's not just the crypto side of things. We covered the stock market too, so we're covering everything. There's too much here to cover, really. I mean, there's over nearly 500 different indicators, different tickers that we're covering here. We're covering the macro side of things, what the pound is doing, the euro, the dollar is very significant. Big moves in the dollar expected, big moves in inflation, the yields. We're covering everything. So whether you're short, medium term, a trader, long-term investor, you're in a business, you're a real estate investor, the group is probably for you. I mean, almost certainly. It's very useful to know where these various different indicators are going. So I don't think it gets as low as 78k. I think a run off the weekly low might be possible just underneath 90. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It tends to do these ABC truncations and sets up the cause for the next move, and we're still bullish here. I don't want to give away the exact targets, but ultimately we're still looking at higher. So for the time being, consolidation, maybe over the weekend or so, and then we're ready to go higher. You just cannot have this going down and then all of the coins being bullish. It doesn't really work like that. As Bitcoin tends to consolidate, if you were to have a look at these majors that we're looking at here on that list that I've just shown you, they're actually holding up pretty well. So that just proves to me it's not a real sell-off. It's simply a correction. After such a big move, it's very, very normal. Bitcoin does tend to frustrate because crypto in general, because it tends to go up in what feels like 1 hour. Then it tends to consolidate what feels like a week. But you have to be able to manage that from a psychological perspective and from capital and time management. That's just the way Bitcoin moves. It was very clear to me we were going to get a shakeout. So I don't really think there's anything else to really cover here. But we are going to go higher. I've seen calls in this cycle, and by this cycle, I'm referring to this kind of wave up here. Can it get to 200,000 in this cycle? So obviously, what is deemed as a cycle is, I suppose, that was a cycle of a smaller description. That was a cycle there, right? So I'm talking this cycle. I'm talking about the cycle top prior to a major correction like the 20k, which we called, and this one here. I don't think it reaches 200 grand in this cycle. I think eventually it can get up to 200 grand. And like I said, today we've done a very detailed analysis of the long-term count. Where is this market actually going to now at the end of the decade? Very useful for long-term investors. I think it does push above 200,000. But this cycle, for it to double from here, given what's happened so far, the last month, the last year or so, I think that's unlikely. But we do have a target here. And we're looking at the on-chain metrics. None of them really suggest anything other than a short-term correction. Now, where would I be getting concerned? I don't think this happens, but if we get a major vertical sell-off here, well below the weekly low, and then we stabilize underneath this weekly low, then obviously we do have real problems going on there. But the way I'm seeing it, that's not a gap to be filled. That's simply an acceleration gap, and that actually occurred on the election. So eventually that might get filled. So by eventually, I mean when we have this big cycle decrease, this big cycle decline, there's no doubt there's a good chance that gap might get filled. But where's the target, right? I won't tell you where it is, but it's not here and it's not at 200 grand. It's somewhere in between. And I think most people would agree somewhere in and around this region here is very, very precise. But obviously we were perfect on the 20k call. We were getting out, and this move here, once we saw that bull flag, right, time to call it a day, we got out of the way. So obviously we're looking at this very, very carefully. So if you want to join the group, everything's there. I don't really think there's anything else to really cover here. I mean, I could maybe break it down into the yearly. I mean, that's a very good looking yearly chart there. 6 months looks bullish. 3 month looks bullish. I mean, it's all looking good. So there's nothing really bearish. I mean, there's no signs of a reversal. Even, on the weekly, people are getting terrified here given this correction. But it's a 100% realized volatility market. It's 10%. More than 10 times more volatile than the average stock in the US stock market. So this is completely normal. 8%. Even then, it's not enough, which is why I'm thinking it might have one more fake push down here, because we didn't really. I mean, there are various signs you can look for capitulation. We got some of them, but not all of them. So I was surprised there. It was very obvious it was going to bounce because it was a descending wedge, which I can show you here. It was very obvious there was a descending wedge. Now we bounced up at the 50, but such is the bullishness. They're not allowing this market to go too low because everyone's missed the move. They're not group subscribers. They're not on top of things, so they don't know how to read a chart. And everyone's missed the move, and then the FOMO then comes back in. So these liquidations for right now are bullish. There will come a point in the near future where we're going to have to call a top here, and obviously we're going to be getting quite concerned. But Bitcoin is neither here nor there in my eyes. I think you can make a lot more money from the altcoin. So not really much here to update. The only other pattern that I would mention is Bitcoin has in this market made quite a few expanded flats, as you can see here, and as you can see here, break the high, break the low. So that's the only other pattern that I would be watching out for. If it is short-term lowers in here, just watch out for that sneaky ABC pattern, okay? So I just have to be a little bit careful. But once again, neither here nor there. It's a good time to be dollar cost averaging, break the high. They might pull a little bit of a curveball there, but that's the only pattern which I've seen quite a number of times since this recent low back in 2022. So just watch out for that little expanded flat there. But once again, it's if you're just constantly going to get shaken out by 8% moves here and there, maybe crypto is not for you. Maybe stick to real estate investing. So good luck with that, with 10% yields and incredibly high price labor and materials and incredibly high value. Maybe go and invest real estate in Canada. I've heard that's a good idea. Not okay. So not much to update. We're just going to wrap it up there. I can't really think of any other thing to really say here. Bitcoin is in a bit of a correction mode. We've not even taken out the weekly low. So what would be the ultimate shakeout really is really we should just run that low. It's such an obvious level where there are stops. Run that low, reclaim, break 90k, boom, we're ready to go. No real major concern for panic here, and the altcoins are looking good and they're holding up really well. So if you want to join the group, obviously we cover the exact Elliott wave counts. I'm not allowed to give them here on YouTube. It's not fair on group members. Just click on this link here. If you want to pay via crypto, message me through the Facebook page. There are no more discounts for the Facebook group, but we are doing discounts here for the educational courses, and it's the groups are nearly at limit, by the way. So I can't really allow more than a couple more members in. We are nearly reaching the limit. So once the limit is reached, I'm gonna have to just cancel off group signups altogether. In which case, there won't be any access to that immediate information. So best time to join is now, and I'll see you guys on the next video.